What's good, you guys? You know who it is, man. It's your boy, Mr. Relentless Lex, and I'm back like I never left this mother. Yes, Sirski. Hello, somebody. All right, so, man, we got Katt Williams exposing on the real reason why Tiffany Haddish is an industry hostage. Industry hostage, bro. Katt Williams love to call people industry plants, especially people that's affiliated or connected to Kevin Hart for some reason. He swear up and down Kevin Hart is the biggest industry plant, puppet, therefore whatever. Thereof. So, there is. I mean, I said thereof. I meant to say there is. But he said Tiffany ain't no better, bro. And if it wasn't for Kevin, she wouldn't be where she at. Which I beg a pardon, because I think Tiffany is funny. Let's get it.
You can't tell me your favorite Tiffany Haddish joke. Why? Because she ain't done a tour yet. She ain't done a special. She has not proven the ability to tell jokes.
Tiffany Haddish hasn't been on Katt Williams' good side for a long time, and it doesn't look like that is going to change anytime soon. Katt just dragged her for filth again, and this time he went in on her for being an industry plant. Katt accused Tiffany of selling her soul just to get to where she is in her career. Tiffany has allegedly been trying to escape most of the demonic deals she got herself involved in at the start of her career, but she's way too deep to turn back now. And it doesn't help that Tiffany has strong ties to Kevin Hart, someone who has also been accused of being a raging industry plant by Katt Williams. When Katt started coming for Tiffany, it was a shock to people because they had actually starred in the 2014 film School Dance, and they got along just fine. Because of this, people were taken aback when he appeared in an interview 4 years later and only had the nastiest things to say about her. He said Tiffany wasn't funny, and that the reason why she's given more awards and accolades over other black female comedians like Monique is because she bows to white men. Katt said Tiffany has never done a stand-up comedy show a day in her life, but the industry wants to push the narrative that she's the funniest black woman to exist.
You can't tell me your favorite Tiffany Haddish joke. Why? Because she ain't done a tour yet.
Wow.
She ain't done a special. She has not proven the ability to tell jokes.
I couldn't even tell you one of her jokes, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. Katt made me ain't lying about that shit right there, bro. I've seen her doing a stand-up comedy show one time, but I ain't watched it. I ain't gonna hold you. I didn't watch it, Tiffany. I'm sorry, I didn't watch it. But I think she did do one. But I couldn't tell you one joke, Katt. I haven't had anybody tell me a Tiffany. That's crazy.
Back to back for an hour to nobody.
Damn.
And they already ready to down Monique and up somebody who has showed them Girls Trip. Did you think she wrote Girls Trip, goofball?
Right.
Or do you think that was already a script and they handed it to her? It's up to you.
Tiffany caught wind of the shade and she clapped back in this tweet saying, "It's official. I made it. Katt Williams talked about me and didn't have his facts right. I look forward to seeing you on Monday, Katt, when we pick up our Emmys. I just want to shower you with real love because you need it, and love you." Katt and Tiffany did in fact meet at the Emmys right after this mess, and y'all will not believe what happened. According to reports, Katt apologized to Tiffany backstage by getting down on one knee. However, when TMZ later caught up with him that same night to ask him about the supposed apology, he had something else to say. He said he never had beef with Tiffany, so there was basically nothing to apologize for. He also said the only reason he spoke to Tiffany backstage is because he was sorry about bringing her name up, not because he actually regretted what he said.
There were some pictures, up on the internet, showed you and Tiffany kind of looked like you squashed your beef backstage there at the Emmys.
And I never had any beef.
Was that just part of your bit? Was it's not a personal thing? You kind of tore into her. You tore into some other comedians during that radio show. Was that from the heart, or were you kind of just being funny, being you, getting your expression out?
I was really just sorry that I mentioned Wanda Sykes or Tiffany's name. I was in a conversation.
Katt Williams too hard, man. Katt Williams say he don't need no ride. This fool walking down the street with his award in his hand. He don't need no chauffeur, no Uber, no nothing.
With a non-female comedian about female comedians. That was a no-no.
I don't know about y'all, but that doesn't sound like a man who is sorry to me. If anything, he sounded like he was still standing on business. But anyway, for a while after this, it looked like Katt and Tiffany were good. That was until Tiffany and Kevin Hart appeared in an interview with The Breakfast Club and pissed him off all over again. Kevin said Katt does all this talking about Tiffany not deserving her success, but not once has he used his platform to empower the women he claims deserves the accolades she gets.
Oh, wow.
He also put Katt on blast for allegedly choosing substances over his career.
Wow.
Mind you, Katt has made it clear multiple times that he has never touched a hard substance a day in his life. Kevin deliberately brought this up to get a reaction out of him. While Kevin was making these wild allegations, Tiffany just sat there and nodded her head to everything he was saying. In fact, when she was finally asked what she thought about Kevin's comments, she said she didn't really care about the apology Katt gave because it still doesn't change what he said about her.
My frustration with Katt Williams comes from, you keep pointing at Hollywood. Hollywood this, the white man, this, and this. When do you take responsibility for your actions? You had the shot.
Katt was in that position at one point.
You were the guy.
Yeah.
You f***ed off promo shoots. You f***ed off your promo trips that they had set up for you. You became a risk to the studios, which is why the studios stopped f***ing with you.
Why was he a risk?
Oh, wow.
He chose. So when you say Tiffany Haddish doesn't deserve or isn't really a comedian and these other women have worked hard, which they have.
Apologize because we seen a picture that
Yeah,
y'all
what's the
posted.
first thing he said to you? when
He
saw you?
apologized. He said, listen, let me explain what's going on. And then he explained himself, and then I was just like, well, you know.
But what did he explain?
Yeah, what
Like,
kind of explanation
He just
can
said,
you
I hate
give?
it?
Huh?
He just said, I hate it?
No,
and I'm
he
sorry?
didn't say
Did
that.
he say he was high?
I want to step in because I'm going to let my sister keep it classy.
Yeah.
Katt Williams is an amazing, talented comedian, which is why I'm so frustrated. I sit from afar and I admire the man's talent. I don't like that you said anything negative about a woman of color that's getting her shot.
Now, the reason why Kevin getting involved in this made Katt upset was because, one, he was now spreading false allegations about him being an addict, and second, he and Kevin already had their own beef prior to this, so her bringing him into this means she clearly wanted the beef to continue. This is exactly why Katt didn't hold back from dragging Kevin for filth during his Club Shay Shay interview last year.
One job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is?
What?
Is to act like it didn't happen. In 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals when he got here. Have
But
we heard
he
of...
sold out. Didn't Kevin sell out Madison Square Garden? I could have sworn. I think he said to be actual and factual, I think he's the first comedian that ever sold out Madison Square Garden. Don't get me the line, bro, but I believe that's the facts, though.
A comedian that came to LA and in his
We got to check that. Check that for me. Put it in the comment section. Either I can check it myself, but I think he's the first comedian ever that sold out Madison Square Garden, bro.
first year in LA, he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading. No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is? Maybe people don't understand the definitions of these words. He just did his documentary with Chris Rock where he shows you that his whole upbringing in comedy was on the East Coast.
Yeah, it was.
So how simultaneously was he here in Los Angeles doing the same thing? It didn't happen. It didn't happen. And I hate to seem like a petty individual for picking apart lies.
The first time Katt called Kevin out for being a plant was when Kevin appeared on SNL wearing a wig. Mind you, prior to this, Kevin said he would never wear a wig. This was a big deal at the time because in the early 2000s, there was an epidemic of black men being forced to wear dresses and wigs as a rite of passage to make it big in Hollywood.
But certain dots, like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress at some point in their career, I'll be connecting them down like, why all these brothers gotta wear a dress? I'm doing a movie with Martin.
Yeah.
The movie's going good. So I walk in the trailer. I'm like, man, this must be the wrong trailer because there's a dress in here. You got this hilarious scene
No, it's
where
the right
Martin's
trailer,
sneaking out of jail. So he disguises you as a prostitute. Nah, I'm not doing that. I don't feel comfortable with that. That should have been in the discussion. What? You don't feel comfortable with it? I mean, it's a hilarious bit. All the greats have done it. So, well, if all the greats have done it, it's kind of hacky, right? You're right. So why don't we just not do it? He said, I'm not wearing no dress, man. I'm funnier than a dress. Just give me something funny to say.
Kevin was later asked in an interview what he thought about the things Dave said, and he made it clear that he would never put a wig or dress on because he has his own morals and beliefs. But guess what? Not long after this interview, Kevin shamelessly popped out in an SNL skit wearing a dress and a wig.
Chappelle, another great comedian, said that, you know, in the industry, they tried to make him wear a dress. Have you ever ran into that with scripts, and is that something that, you know, you wouldn't do, you know, for?
You have to have boundaries. You have to have limits that you refuse to cross. At the end of the day, you got to know that you're a brand. I'm a brand. You need to protect your brand at all times.
The new pope is 9-year-old
Kevin.
Oscar nominee, Convention
Kevin, how you gonna say all that, man? And then pop out dressed like this, man. That's crazy. That's diabolical.
He received a lot of backlash for this because he ended up doing exactly what he was claiming he would never do. Some people at the time even said Kevin was allegedly being turned into a power bottom in Hollywood. And of course he wasn't here for this, so he jumped on Twitter to make it clear that he wasn't forced into wearing that wig. I wore a dress on SNL because I thought it was funny. I made that decision. Nobody made it for me. I am my own boss. When Katt was later asked his thoughts on Kevin wearing a dress, he said it wasn't Kevin's fault that he wore that dress because he was just part of an agenda to effeminate black men in Hollywood.
I'm saying, at the end of the day, Kevin doesn't have to worry about what people are going to say about him wearing a dress because of the long line of dress-wearing people before him. So now we had Big Mama's house 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
I've never seen Medea in a pantsuit. I think she wears dresses. So now I'm saying, why are we picking on poor little Kevin Hart? Because it was his turn next.
Right after this humiliation ritual, Kevin started getting even bigger roles in the industry, and Katt was blackballed. He was slowly being used to replace Katt, and Katt's name was getting dragged through the gutter by the media for apparently being an addict.
A sucker. The reason I don't do Big Tigger is because I had a tumor in my upper jaw and they had to take it out. And they had to block the whole right of my sinus with a piece of metal. So ever since I got out the Marine Corps, I can only breathe out of one nostril, boy. I get my blood tested every 3 months for the last 15 years. All narcotic tests have come up 0.00%. I'm 44 years old, little Tigger. You look up my rap sheet. I have never had a DUI or a possession of anything, not even the I do every day.
Now, going back to Tiffany, she still heard about the comments Katt made about her. In fact, after Katt's interview with Shannon Sharp...
Yeah, you done been in jail a time or two, bro. I can remember. As a matter of fact, you got locked up in South Carolina, where I'm from. Not from the same town, but from like another town over, like maybe 35, 45 minutes away, called Sumter. In a hotel, so though you've been locked up before now, Katt. I don't know for what, but they say you look like you could have been high on the camera. I'm just saying.
She sarcastically brought up Katt's apology again, seemingly calling out just how fake it was. I'm like, yeah, but you need to publicly apologize. At the Emmys, he got down on one knee and said, I apologize. As usual, people had their own thoughts about this, like this person who said, the apology must have been for her to just feel good, but Katt was giving facts. Another person said, okay, Tiffany Haddish is smart. She wins over white America. White America are the people that allow her to win these types of awards. Although you may think she doesn't deserve it, she sure as heck made sure those white people putting in those votes think she deserves it. But now I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about Katt exposing Tiffany Haddish? And do you think Tiffany is really a plant being held hostage? Let me know your thoughts.
Well, I will say this. When it comes down to Hollywood, bro, I'm pretty sure everybody that's in Hollywood is doing things they don't really want to do, whether it's getting somebody some coffee to being inside a fake relationship just to make it to the top, bro. It's all kind of things that take place in Hollywood, and we all know that. So if Tiffany did what she had to do to make it to a specific part of her life to get to the top, that's what she had to do. If that's her prerogative, bro. But now, The last thing I really heard about Tiffany was when she was in the airport and nobody didn't recognize her and they wouldn't even let her board the plane. And I don't know exactly why they didn't let her board the plane, but she was like, hey, do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? I'm Tiffany Haddish. I need to be on that plane. They said, well, man, we're going to have to see some ID or something because we don't know who he is and blase, and you can't get on the plane. She was about to cry. She was like, I cannot be stuck over here, bro. So that was the last thing, man. I think she kind of fell off a little bit, if you ask me. She really did. But do she have talent? I believe so. I think she's pretty funny, bro. She's a funny individual. I think it's authentic, and she may have had a little help in her career, but she really do. She has the comedian talent. I feel.